Thank you for joining us for the 2-minute drills. I'm Aram Talegian, San Gabriel Valley newspaper group football writer, joined by the king of Colorado Boulevard, a man who obviously just left the tailor, Miguel Melendez, the sharp-dressed man of Pasadena. Miguel, the turkey tussle is coming on Thursday night. PHS, 5-4 overall. Now pay attention to the league records here. 4-2 in the Pacific League. Muir, 5-4 overall, 3-3 in the Pacific League. Before we get into what this game means, city rivalry and all that kind of stuff wise, let's talk about playoff scenarios. If Muir loses, they're adios.
Done.
They're not going to make it, okay? If PHS loses, I think they're still, well, other things are going to happen. Obviously, Crescenta Valley is going to play Arcadia. We got to think Arcadia is going to win that, right?
Right.
And Burbank is 3-3 right now. They're probably going to win on Friday night. They'll be 4-3. So you could have PHS if they lose, PHS at 4-3, Crescenta Valley at 4-3. If Crescenta Valley loses, and if Burbank wins at 4-3, those three teams going for 2 playoff spots, and then if PHS loses, that means Muir won, and they're 4-3. So 4 teams for 2 playoff spots in the Southeast Division, and we're probably going to coin flips. But if PHS wins, they're in.
Well, I got to find out what the Pacific League does in terms of...
got to be coin flips.
I know for the Rio Hondo League, when this happened last year, there was a coin flip to flip out the odd team out.
Okay.
Which was South Pasadena.
Yeah.
And then it came down between Temple City and La Cañada.
Yeah, but this is 4 teams.
Right. So, so you're right.
4 teams for 2 spots. So it can't be a head-to-head thing, which PHS would like because they've beaten Crescenta Valley. Anyways, here's the point, man. You look at these standings. You look at what's been going on this year over at Muir, the unfortunate situation with Ken Howard. And I kind of wrote about this in our Turkey Tussle magazine that'll be available the day of the game in the Star News and also probably at the game. This looks like, if ever there was something that looked like the year that PHS would win the tussle and take the bell back for the first time since '95, this is what the year looks like. Ken Howard's situation. You look at Muir ever since then. They lost to CV. They lost to Arcadia. They lost this week to Burbank, which is kind of a shocker. And PHS has the electric quarterback in Brandon Cox. This is what the year looks like when PHS wins, right?
Yeah, and we've seen the common opponents they've had so far with Crescenta Valley and Arcadia. And I think the one game I take away is that Arcadia game. Arcadia beat Muir 42-7 last week. Arcadia beat Pasadena 48-21. That game, I think, got away from Pasadena. They were in it.
You were there, yeah.
In that second drive of PHS.
Yeah.
In their second drive, things imploded. But otherwise, if they kind of, who knows what would have happened? I still think Arcadia wins, but they're definitely in that game, and which is why it leads me to believe that this is the biggest chance that PHS will have to beat a Muir team and bring back that victory belt.
But Miguel, when they get on the field against Muir, they have that block. They have that mental block, and that's bigger than anything. Right. It seems like. Can they overcome that? I mean, because they're talented, yes. I mean, they're playing well. Their offense is going to move on anybody. Their defense ain't going to stop anybody. And it sure isn't going to stop a team that's got Owens, Holmes, Seymour, getting the ball in their hands. So it's not that big enough of a talent gap to overcome the mental gap. So what do they do? I mean, do you think they can stop this? I mean, or break this mental block?
Yeah, I think so. And I just got done reading your column on PHS for the Turkey Tussle, and you mentioned how they went up against Alamany in the first game of the season, and if nothing else, it showed that they're not scared of anybody.
And they played hard.
That score would indicate that, but
right. Horton, why am I saying McFarland?
Coach Horton.
Yeah, he said they played hard right to the end, and he knows his team will always play hard.
Right.
That's good.
Right, and I think having a new coach in there, I think will kind of. I think he does. He wasn't there for any of the previous losses, the lopsided losses. Well, granted, he was there for last year, but he wasn't there for this big run that Muir has had. And that you like that new ingredient into the mix, and he's that guy. And hopefully, everyone else will buy into this.
But Miguel, he was an assistant coach at PHS the last time they won, so he does know what it takes. He also went to PHS. But then again, so did Coach Mitchell over at Muir. I don't know about you, man. I mean, it's hard for me to say Brandon Cox is the most electric player on the year when you got a guy like Seymour. You even got a freshman like Holmes. You got a guy like Tyron Owens out there. But he just might be slightly the best, most electric guy on the field. Does that get nullified by the other speed on Muir? I don't know. But I'm going to go Freddie. I know. Fred Roberto behind the camera is just waiting for this. I'm going to go with PHS.
Woo!
I'm going to go with PHS. Bring the bell back.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man. I mean, last year it was 63-6 for Muir. Go ahead, man.
I will agree and pick PHS as well. The reason why is because with a guy like Brandon Cox, he has the ball with him and he can make things happen with his arm, with his legs. He is the go-to guy, the focal point of that offense. And he's got guys at his disposal too. Granted, Seymour, Owens, Derek Holmes, who, by the way, played a little quarterback this year and has been pretty impressive. These guys, I think they're still, they like the ball getting to them. And even Seymour can play out of the Wildcat. But they haven't really used that kind of package to their advantage. They're still trying to find that identity on offense, which seems to baffle me at this point because it's so late in the season. Brandon Cox we know, is the identity of that offense. And if he can get this thing going early on, like he did against Arcadia, where they just march down for 8 plays and score right off the bat, who knows what can happen.
All right. Listen, we both picked PHS, which probably means some scary things. Freddie, you want it behind the camera? You want to give a pick on this game? Do you want to offset things and pick Muir?
Well, yeah, I'm going to take Muir. I mean, this game at the Rose Bowl, Pasadena they've never shown up. This game has really never even been that competitive.
You've covered a lot of these
once
games,
they
Fred.
get there. Yeah, I remember that one year they had the big thing that they did on TV to promote it. It was all over there.
Coach Sims, Kevin Sims.
Coach, that sounds like
Kevin Mills.
Kevin Mills, wore the camouflage outfit to try to. If there was any year they were going to beat him, it was going to be that year. Now I realize none of these things last forever. Eventually PHS is going to get him. I'm not buying it right now. I can see with the game Muir, with their playoffs on the line, you're going to see them show up and they're going to win this game. And don't be shocked if they wind up doing it handily. I know PHS is a lot better this year, but this is Muir at the Rose Bowl. And if you look at the games the last 3 or 4 years, they haven't even been that competitive.
No.
And I think Muir, when they see PHS line up across that field, when they look at them and stare them down, Aram hit the nail on the head. There's just a mental ownership they have over the Bulldogs right now that PHS doesn't know what to do with.
I just think I think not having Kenny Howard at Muir has affected that team more than people seem to give.
Even more reason for Muir to want to win this one for him, because he's never lost a game under his watch, and him not there or not, this team is still under his watch.
But the reason why I bring this up is because you look at PHS, Randy Horton's on campus. He's there with the team from the time the bell rings at the end to the very end. There's just this consistency there. They start their weight room program. They get on the field on time. They have a regimen going on all season. Where at Muir, you have walk-on coaches who aren't showing up till about 5 o'clock or even past that. Starting practice late. These kids are getting tired. They're getting home tired at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I mean, there just hasn't been any consistency over the last 2
And it's been like that for maybe 15 years, and they still won 15 years in a row.
Kenny Howard was on campus when they were practicing, when he was there. He's not there anymore. There seems to be a bit of a loss in terms of getting these kids back on discipline.
And my last thing, though, Miguel, and that's all fine and well. Those other Pacific League games, I just think sometimes Muir doesn't get up for them. You're right the way they should. And Kenny Howard, I'm sure, plays a big role in that. But you get in the Rose Bowl under the lights, and you have a chance to really get excited and play a game where everything's on the line. This is when Muir shows up. I saw him do it against Charter Oak, against one of Charter Oak's greatest teams. They had no business, and they went into that game and had a chance to win in the last second. When there's a big game on the line and everything's there, Muir plays good.
And they upset La Mirada last year.
They are great in big games.
I tell you, there's a group of people out there that are rooting for PHS hard, and those are the coaches in the Southeast Division that don't want to face Muir in the first round. But
that's because they show up for games like this.
Be careful what you look for or wish for, because if PHS is your opponent and you're one of those Southeast teams and you're a league champion, you better watch out. You better watch out if PHS is your first opponent in that Southeast playoff. Man, this game's going to be good, Miguel.
They're expecting 13,000.
Freddie, take us
real
out.
Quick, I'm going to walk you through here. Here is your souvenir edition for this Thursday's game. You're going to see that in Thursday's newspaper.
Okay, Freddie. I'm sure that magazine will look better in color. Freddie, go ahead and take us out.
You got it.
Turkey Tussle Thursday night. Miguel will be suited up.